Well, greetings everybody. You've got that funk, and this is a video response to a text comment that I got on my video to TheReprieve earlier today. The comment comes from my friend TheReprieve, who's, I'm not being funny when I say he's one of my favorite Christians on YouTube. The reason for that, well, you know, he's enthusiastic about his faith without being a zealot. And when people are like that, I can't help but appreciate and respect that sort of approach. Anyway, I had mentioned in the video to Derek earlier today. The video was called To Kill or Die For. Um, I mentioned in that video that I've never raised my hand in violence to another human being. And the Reprieve was surprised by that. And I'm going to read the comment. Wow, dude, you've never lifted your hand in violence to another human being? Not even in self-defense? I don't mean to be a jerk by asking, but how do you know you could defend yourself if you've never had to? I'll read the rest of the comment in a minute. The short answer to that question is, I suppose I don't know that I could defend myself if I ever had to. I mean, I've been taught how to defend myself, but, you know, if you never put these things into practice, you don't know until those moments come. So that's number one. Number two, I have been the victim of physical violence by 3 different people in my life. The first 2 were my first and then subsequent second wife. First wife beat me up pretty bad the first time, actually, but it never even occurred to me to hit her back. The same time, the second time she beat me up, you know, the only thing that occurred to me was to stop her from beating me up, you know, to grab her so she couldn't keep on hitting me. When my second missus, you know, she hit me several times over the course of the 10 years we were together. It never, ever occurred to me to raise my hand in violence towards her. I don't really, I can honestly say, I'm not proud of this, it's just a fact. I can honestly say I've never in my life felt rage, ever. I've been outraged in the sense, you know, idealistically speaking. But as far as seeing the red, I've seen it happen to other people, and I'm certainly no better than they are, so I know it could happen to me. And which explains why I said what I said in my video about seeing red. But I've never actually been in a rage to where, you know, your brain short circuits. I've never, ever, ever been that angry in my life. You know, I grew up in a pretty shouty household, and my dad's, the man who raised me is my stepdad. I call him my dad. And he's a pretty hard guy, you know, very, very strict. And, you know, I grew up in a very shouty household, like I say, and so I determined when I left that house that I wasn't going to turn out like that. And so I set about constructing myself in such a way that I'd be proud of who I was. And I didn't want to be a shouty, prone to violence type of personality. So I can honestly say that between the ages of 17 and 27, I never even raised my voice in anger to another person. I raise my voice sometimes, but usually for the point of view of excitement or to make some kind of a point. But I never got in shouting matches with anybody. Not angry ones anyways, you know, jocular ones maybe. What happened when I was 27, you might ask? Well, I married my first missus. Anyway, so, you know, I tend to be a relatively calm personality most of the time as far as temper is concerned. So that's one side of it. As far as the other side of it, you know, you might be surprised to hear me say this, but, you know, Jesus was right about quite a few things. And the whole line about if your enemy strikes you on the right cheek, offer him your left, or maybe I get the cheeks wrong, I can't remember, but I think that's the way it is, the line. That is so full of profound, timeless wisdom that I almost don't want to admit it. But it's a fact. If you can take a few knocks, depending on the assailant and their attitude, but if you can take a few knocks and not resort to responding in kind, it's been my experience that you take fewer knocks as a result. So earlier this year, I was beaten up. Well, I was assaulted twice, but I was beaten up the first time pretty badly by this fella whose girlfriend I had been seeing for the previous year. And when I knew it was coming, I knew he was going to hit me sooner or later. And when it came, I took my knocks like a man. He had every right to be angry at me. I don't think I deserved to get beaten like I did, but I did my best to protect myself without fighting back. And I walked away with nothing broken, no bruises, and my head held high. So I feel I acquitted myself as best as I possibly could, and I don't think that if I had fought back, it would have made me feel any better about how I handled the situation. So, like I say, if you can actually rise up to the challenge of turning the other cheek and not responding in kind, I do think that it does minimize the violence. Now, that's easy for me to say because I'm not the type of person who usually arouses much violence in other people. So, and I've never been the victim of a brutal crime with someone where the perpetrator has no conscience or has left their conscience so far behind inside themselves that they can't remember what it sounds like. But people like that exist, and they do commit violence against other people, and they have apparently no remorse. Hopefully, I don't attract that type of people into my life, and if I did, I don't really know how I would handle it. Hence, what I was saying in Derek's video, or the video to Derek. Um, Circumstances, extreme circumstances sometimes elicit an extreme response, and I guess I'm just lucky that I've never found myself in circumstances more extreme than my self-control will cope with. Anyway, I hope that helps elucidate that part. I'm just going to get to the second part of your comment real quickly here. You say, I commend you, though. There are a couple of violent instances in my life that I wish I could take back. I mean, I wasn't always a Christian. Well, I wasn't a Christian when I turned the other cheek, my friend. Um, Faith is a good thing for you because I can see that it makes you feel better about yourself and the world, and I think you obviously take an awful lot of richness from it, and I would certainly not presume to criticize your belief or what it means to you. Um, but the presumption that even if it's a joke, that a person, whether it's you or anyone else, might be less inclined to violence just because they believe in Jesus, well, I guess we'll have to respectfully disagree about that. Anyway, this has Got That Funk. Thanks to everybody for sticking along with the ride, and may all your ups and downs turn out to be ups.